You're all going to die down here.
You know, the only people that don't see serious trouble on the way right now are in denial or delusional. The easiest scenario we're being given even by the mainstream news right now is horrible. Even Keith Olbermann's now talking about, well, the wellhead may be fractured and they can't seal it because there's so much pressure it would explode. Well, that means, very simply, that mainstream media is telling you that they've got so much pressure down there it's not even possible to seal it. You can't seal the pipe. Why not? Because it's going to blow out through the ground. Well, that's great. That lends a lot of credence to what was on Steve Quayle last night, which is that there are, and this is a worst case scenario, five fissures in the sea floor now. Not at the pipe, just big cuts in the earth spewing oil. And they may be leaking up to 50 million gallons a day right now. The reports I've been getting between Intel Hub and the interviews and the reporters that are managing to get in and squeeze out information are horrendous. Saying the benzene gas over the Gulf of Mexico right now might be as high as 4,000 parts per million. 14 parts per million is toxic and will eventually kill you. 4,000 parts per million will probably knock you on your ass dead very shortly. There's also a lot of other gases, forgive me if I get the names wrong, methane hydrate, which turns into methane gas. Sodium hydroxide, I believe. I can't even remember what else is out there, but it's horrible, and it's published now. There's pictures taken. There is the National Guard is there in armored vehicles. They don't have any weapons mounted yet. If they start mounting weapons, count on it. They're going to start moving people by force. The Gulf of Mexico is dead, and if they start evacuating all those people. And all the numbers on evacuations is looking at 40 to 50 million people. And when, and I don't say if, I say when that oil comes up the East Coast, there's no telling if it's going to mean the entire East Coast is also going to be forced to evacuate. And what are you going to do at that point? Are you going to fight back? You really can't. What are you going to do? Bug in? You really can't, because the rain's going to be poisoned and there's going to be a myriad of fun gases coming in to kill everything. And if you don't believe that, then look at some of the links posted. I'm just going to post a whole flurry of different stuff on this. But WKRG, I think that's the studio name out of Memphis, is reporting that organic and non-organic plants are getting white holes. Like something's burning right through them. And I was like, well, maybe it's solar radiation leaking through, but no, it's probably not that. Chemtrails, maybe, but probably not. The most likely culprit I see is the Gulf of Mexico, the dispersants, the gases spewing out of the earth, etc., etc., etc. Not good information. Now, on top of all this, and understand what I'm getting to here, our economy's collapsing. We're in a quasi-border war with Mexico. Not just with their illegal immigrants, but with their government now. It doesn't seem that the presidents of either country is even acknowledging this fact. It just is happening. The North Korea situation still exists, but from what I understand, President Obama has granted them their no problem. Don't fuck up again. And we still have Israel and the whole Iran situation. But to a bigger point, understand that the United States has pissed off the entire world for many, many years now. So has our greatest ally, Israel, pissed off the whole world for many, many years now. And we are, at some point in the future, going to end up in World War III, but what starts it, what is the catalyst, I don't know, but I can tell you this. There's still a lot of earth disasters on the way that our governments are well aware of, and this oil spill, for all I know, maybe it's one of them. I don't think so, but maybe. Maybe the cover-up is that BP is just stepping in, pretending they did it, because they don't want anyone to know that they have no control over this situation. But while all this is happening, just remember, America's pissed the world off. The biggest threat to our country, as far as I'm concerned, militarily, would be Russia and China, not one or the other, but both combined. And everybody wants to say, oh, well, they will never do anything. Without us, our economy can't survive. Well, I have news for all of you, if you didn't already know. Our economy is fucking dead. Not only is our economy dead, but now we're dealing with more disaster than we can ever fucking pay for. Ever. We're also looking at, we're going to be dealing with a major food shortage, not just because USDA fudged all our numbers last year to protect our stupid fucking economy, but because now there's toxic gas coming in and killing plants, and soon to be killing people, I would be willing to bet. And so, what happens, let's combine the disaster real quick. Let's say they displace, worst case scenario, 50 million people off the coastlines. Where are they going to go? A, and B, how are they going to feed them when there's no food, no money, and no economy? And the answer is you can't. My next question is, what's the rest of the world going to do? Because we can't pay our loans. We can't support the world economy anymore. We're cooked. And Russia and China don't need our economy. They need our resources, primarily our food. And there's a lot of other reports about Chinese subs pulling up off the West Coast. There's pictures now from the West Coast of fully armed A-10s flying combat air patrols, as far as I understand, somewhere out over the ocean. All the rest of the world needs to do is come in and get us. They don't need our economy, they need our land, and they need the resources it bears. Maybe they even need some slave labor. I don't have any answers for you on exactly what to do or how to respond, except for you'd better be in touch with a higher power, with a higher consciousness, with a higher something, and you'd better be getting your marching orders and your guidance from something other than people, because there are not going to be any right or wrong answers. There's going to be opinions, there's going to be misconstrued facts, and there's going to be propaganda, and it's going to lead to nothing but a giant circle jerk of confusion. But number one, I would say for right now, while it's still ramping up, if you're really getting a lot of your news from the mainstream media, you consider it just as bad as the information you got at a party full of drunk people saying, hey, you know what I heard? That's about as how viable their bullshit is anymore. That's about all I've got for you today, folks. As more information comes in, I'll let you know. By the way, I would strongly suggest giving Shep's website, theintelhub.com, a good view, regardless of what you think of the guy or whether you paid any attention or not. I've been in the loop with them for a while, and they're getting some incredible information from a lot of sources. There is one more thing that I forgot to read here. This came from a soldier who is returning from leave to to Afghanistan. This is what he saw in Kuwait. He said, I thought you'd like to know that I've spoken to several infantry folks here in Kuwait who are coming back from mid-tour en route to Iraq. That means they're coming from their 2-week vacation on their way back to Iraq. They found out that they've been laid off and they're being replaced by foreign contractors. The strange thing is, these are mostly National Guard. I don't know if this shit is coinciding with the whole oil shitstorm, but it seems like a pretty off-the-wall link-up. Hype bus, National Guard steps in, deployed units for leave of duty, sent home in less than a month's time. You and I both know how strenuous redeployment, that is, coming home from war, how strenuous that process is. And apparently dudes are just being told to pack up what they can, pop smoke, and get out of town. Head back to the United States. Another strange addition to the whole mix. So, hang on to your ass. National Guard, FBI, DHS, CIA, Coast Guard have silenced Grand Isles, Louisiana, and squelched all the media coming out of it. And if you dare be a reporter and try to get a story, you're going to jail. And I know of at least one person now that has gone to jail for it. Alternative reporter. You may have heard his report about how it's police state. He went to try and get some more footage of it the next day. He's gone. He's arrested. So hang on to your ass, folks. It's coming. It's coming hard. And it's not what we thought it was originally. But it's coming. Once again, hang on to your ass.